After meetings with party leaders in Rome, Italy's President Sergio Mattarella says talks on the government's future will continue. He was expected to make a decision on whether a new government could be formed or if another election was on the cards. Well, Italy's coalition government was plunged into crisis following the resignation of Prime Minister Giuseppe Conte on Tuesday. He stepped down following League party leaders Matteo Salvini's push for new elections. But if the Five Star Movement and the Democratic Party can set aside their differences and form a new government, one that doesn't include the League Party, Mr. Salvini would be frozen out of power altogether. Well, our correspondent in Rome, Giorgia Orlandi, has been following the latest developments and joins us now. Giorgia, what came out of those talks? We know that Luigi Di Maio and Matteo Salvini both spoke to the president. What have they had to say?
Yes, talks. We heard from Matteo Salvini. He said that the priority is to go back to the polls, to give the people the possibility to choose what's best for the country. But at the same time, he hinted to the fact that he would be in favor of a cabinet reshuffle with the Five Star Movement. He opened up once again to that opportunity, and he also hinted to the fact that he would be in favor of making some concessions to the Five Star Movement, perhaps choosing Luigi Di Maio as the new Prime Minister. But we know as well that the Five Star Movement has been very clear on that. In particular, the founder of the movement, Beppe Grillo, they met over the weekend. The group released the note and they said, well, the door remains shut for Salvini, and they also demanded his resignations. What Luigi Di Maio had to say in all these, we know that the Five Star Movement is in the driving seat at the moment. Well, Luigi Di Maio said, we don't want to go back to the polls and we would prefer to deliver on our political promises that we made to the voters. He made a list of 10 reforms that need to be accomplished over the next months. But he was not that clear if he wants to go back with the League or he wants to try and find and agree on a compromise with the Democratic Party. But once again, compromise with the League Party seems to be very risky and very unlikely.
Well, there was a lot of expectations that President Mattarella would, make a decision today. You just outlined the conditions of Luigi Di Maio, but what about the League Party? Are they setting any demands?
Well, the League Party, as I said, is very much in favor of the possibility of having a cabinet reshuffle, and if that condition is not possible, well, then the only solution is going back to the polls. We heard from Salvini in the Senate a few days ago when Conte made that address. They're ready to vote on a couple of reforms, and then they said, let's go back to the polls. But once again, the problem here is that Salvini, after that very fierce address by Conte, has been trying to fend off accusations coming from all sides, mainly from the Five Star Movement, and the risk, unless the country go back to the polls, and we know that the League is very much favored according to the latest polls. Well, the risk for Salvini is to end up in opposition for a long time.
Well, those discussions, as you said, will continue on Tuesday. So what can we expect from the Democratic Party over the weekend?
Well, another round of consultations will take place on Tuesday, and we know the timing here is very crucial. And the reason for that is that Mattarella will have to come up with a solution, but mainly he will push for a swift decision by the Five Star and the Democratic Party if an agreement is possible. And the reason for that is that if this solution is not achievable, meaning, as we know, that this compromise is not easily reachable. We've heard from Zingaretti himself. He's made a list of 5 points that he would like the Five Star Movement to agree on. Well, if this solution is not achievable, then Mattarella needs to dissolve Parliament, even perhaps the day after, in order to use the first available window to go back to the polls and avoid serious consequences for Italy's economy, including some automatic tax hikes that are very dangerous for the country.
Giorgia Orlandi there, as those Italy's political parties continue wrangling over a new coalition. Thank you.